Hello everyone, I am Tacet and welcome to the Gems of War stream. So, of course, today we are going to be continuing with the new faction of Mirrored Halls. Of course, we'll be doing this through the faction event itself. And yeah, we still got a ways to go. Not sure if we're going to start doing the skipping method. Also, I didn't even realize we were able to actually get all rewards yesterday, so we need to go claim those. Actually haven't claimed a single one, so we can get all of them all at once. But of course, that's not the only thing we need to go do. What we need to go do is go do 500 peer faction. So we're already almost halfway there. Technically 250, even though it's, you know, halfway through the delve. Isn't actually halfway there because, of course, they keep increasing in stats. Probably closer to about 300 is the actual halfway there or so. But yeah, not sure if we're going to start skipping. Obviously, the further we go, the longer these rooms end up taking, and given that this has a straight path end kind of format, it might be worth skipping. However, it has so much good loot that we might not skip it. We might actually do every single delve to full completion. We'll see. We'll judge that probably in about an hour or so. But for now, we're just using Mountain Crusher, Apothecary, High King, Iron Gut, and Mirage Queen. Posted a video yesterday going over a bunch of teams that you can go copy-paste if you want to use any of those. And if you still have any other questions, feel free to leave it in chat. And obviously, pretty much all of this stream will be dedicated towards delving further into this place so that we can go get all the loot and get it done this weekend, since, of course, we are restricted to these 3 days to go get it completed through the event, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So we need to make sure we get it done by Monday reset time. Oh, we should easily be able to. Even if we don't skip at all, should still pretty easily be able to. Though if I don't do any skips, that likely means we're doing pure faction tomorrow night and not tonight. That's perfectly fine. Not that big a deal. But yeah, hello everyone! Hello Itty Bitty! Hello September Black! Hello Frag Hunter! Oh, I was just having some cereal with banana. Oh, what's that one cereal called? Crave. Not sure if you've ever heard of it. It's a relatively newer one. By relatively newer one, I mean like several years ago. I guess that's considered new for cereal. Some cereals have been out for, gosh, well, it feels like forever. As long as I've been alive. Oh, what do we take here? We'll grab a Mountain Crusher. Get an Iron Gut down. Grab herself a... We do have Convert, yes. Go for down red. Already into another Devour. Perfect. And we pretty much already have our mana going again. Nice. Get that going. I don't have a drop for it, so let's mount and everything. And then 2 more pokes. And I'll go for the last one. Oh, no, I can't. I was going to say last one first because the other guy already had skull damage. But nope. Stun's going to get in the way. That's a big deal. We'll do that. Let's throw an Apothecary, and that should be match. As long as we get an extra turn here, and we do. And then we can just simply go Devour it, and we're dead. Or it's dead. You finished Pure Faction this morning. Last fight took you 45 minutes. Oh, that's not good. That sounds hard. How many potions did you have, by the way? I should probably be asking that to everyone who's already finished. Who ended up doing... You used Rush Method, right? I'm pretty sure no one has... Or barely anyone has finished with actually doing every single room. I'm pretty sure some amount of people have. I'm pretty sure most people who have finished right now have skipped to some degree. Otherwise, you had to have played, like, literally all day yesterday in order to have been able to get enough to do full completion for each. I guess it's not too bad. It does come out to about 10-ish hours or so, 10 to 12. Get the exact timing on it. But if you were to do every single room to full completion, it takes about that long. You did it with 7. Interesting. I'm currently at 5. So I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. Oh yeah, what horde level do you have? I should probably ask that too. Because I actually have a really low horde level this time around. I'm only running with 100. Normally I run with 200. You did full runs till 300? That sounds about what I would do. That's generally around the frame where I would consider like starting to skip. More often than not. Like once you start getting to around 250 to 300 is when they start dragging on and it's like, yeah, probably about time to start skipping. That whole range is pretty good time to start doing it. Oh, why did I do that? What? Oh, there. That's bad. Luckily, that's just sitting there. Probably do that on yellow over there. Get that rolling. Throw the Devour out there. Oh, I probably should have gone for the Curse thing. Because I would have killed it and then we could have devoured it. Oh well. I just need to get his mana one more time. As long as our first slot doesn't die, should be good. And actually, we just kill with skulls at this point. Doppelganger and Pure Faction is not needed at all. Yes and no. The only reason why I was considering using Doppelganger in Pure Faction is it gives you extra stats for first battle so that you don't die on first battle. But if it's very easy not to die on first battle, then you probably won't even need it. I guess to a degree you kind of also wouldn't need it in the sense that if you actually wanted to bring Doppelganger into the next room in order to copy a troop specifically there, you could just end up using a second, what's her name? A second of the legend, and just end up putting her there instead in the last slot, and then just have your summons go there. Or, on the first battle, copy the enemy's Doppelganger, and then go from there. But yeah, the main reason I mention it like that is the first and second battle give you more stats if you use a full team of all 4 of them, rather than doubling up on any. While it might make your team a little bit weaker, it allows you to have higher stats for both. You won't have it for the final battle, because you'll have different troops by then. But for the first 2 battles, you will have higher stats than if you were to run anything other than one of each. Okay, and now we just need to take out that guy. And it'll be good to go. Thank you, itty bitty unicorn. Okay, what do we even need here, room-wise? I guess we take this one and the other one up there, top right, and then bottom left. Also, gosh, why am I so out of breath this morning? Let's see, I'll take that. I might need to stop the exercise game for a little while. My body's just not used to exercising on a routine. It might actually legitimately be because of that. Like, I exercise occasionally, but I'm not used to exercising literally every single day, which I have been lately. Pretty much since the 1st. The only day I haven't exercised since the 1st of this month was on my birthday on the 4th. Let's see. I'll take that over. Grab Devour there. Is High King Iron Gut good in PvP? It's not the best of PvP options, but yes, it is usable in PvP. And it becomes increasingly more useful as time goes on. Because as more attack is available in the game, the more viable he is everywhere other than Delves. Because in Delves, he's already at peak viability. But in other locations, he has quite a bit of a low starting attack. Like, if I bring him into PvP right now, he has a 50-something starting attack, I believe, with the highest amount of stats that you could possibly have right now. Or almost the highest stats you could possibly have. Obviously, we can get him to gold, but that's going to be really hard, because getting Mythics upgraded is absurdly expensive from a metal perspective. Their herd level is 192. Normally, I can get them to 200, but the reason I wasn't able to get this one to 200 was I got Hall of Guardians to 200. Which made it so I didn't have enough to get this to 200. Oh, so we're going to gain a level today on our hero. There's no way that's not happening. I believe we're even using 10% extra XP. Oh, I know we aren't. Yes, we are. No, we're not. Never mind. We're using Titan right now. Titan doesn't have 10%. It only has +1 glory on PvP battles. Which obviously we're not doing right now. Good, we did Cascade full mana. Grab ourselves a Mountain Everywhere. Get another one going. And let's see, take a red. And then we just devour him. Is Iron Gut attack is at 100? He will always devour? Yes. As long as the enemy doesn't have immune to devour, he will always devour at 100%. The reason why we have Mirage Queen on this team, normally you use it for its 50% mana start for all elementals, but the reason we're actually using it is it curses all enemies whenever we end up casting it. And we use that in order to be able to kill, everything. Because it gets rid of any immune to Devour that they might have. Which is why you see me randomly casting him on some battles. It's mainly just to remove immune to Devour off all the enemies. Because Curse, for its duration, removes any immunities from a troop. And that includes Impervious and anything else that might have immune to Devour attached to it. Ooh, I just clicked this and don't have alignment. That's unfortunate. Oh, yes, I did. Never mind. We got it on yellow. Yellow saved us. Okay, let's just do that one. And now we just have to deal with a doppelganger, which shouldn't be too big a deal. Even if he mimics Iron Gut, we're going to win before he gets a chance to do anything. And he's dead. He doesn't even get a single turn. Doesn't even get a single mana. There we go. Grab all that loot. Okay, next thing. Yeah, let's move forward here. Still keep doing every room. I kind of want to do every single room the entire time just because of how many treasure rooms this place has. It has an absurd amount of treasure room. Okay, we'll take that down for now. Also, I'm not sure if I'll be able to have the stream thing set up by tomorrow. I mean today. But I might be able to have it set up by tomorrow, is what I meant to say. I'm going to still try to have it set up by tonight. But, I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough time today to get it all done as I want it. We'll see. If I do, I will. Oh yeah, that's something I meant to test this morning. I completely forgot. Oh well, we'll see if it disconnects. But, there is one slight tweak I wanted to do. But I guess I'll test it tonight then. Because there's a really slight tweak I want to do to see if it has any impact on anything. And I might even use it once we switch to the other format too, just to see if it helps a lot. Okay, what do we need here? We need green and... Actually, that changes things. We just cast Mountain now. Getting full mana immediately off a Cascade. So there we have an Impervious. So now we're going to need to go and use Curse, because that thing has immune to Devour. Luckily, from playing this game so much, I know literally everything that has immune to Devour, as well as most immunities in the game in general. Oh, yeah, let's take Mountain. And it was Curse. Hopefully we'll have alignment on it, which we did before he did that. Fortunately, now we don't, but I'm still going for it. Actually, do we hold? Let me take that first. And that's... Okay, we're just going to go for it. Oh, at this point, we can just kill it with skulls. Nice. Problem, though. We don't have a skull follow-up. Fail. But we do have an Iron Gut follow-up, which will devour it now that he doesn't have immune to Devour. There we go. Okay, what's that? 1.3. 1.3. Well, I guess we don't have much of a choice. Gotta go for a 1.3. Hello, Zeddicus. Happy Saturday. Yep, Saturday morning. I was just mentioning on stream when it was brought up earlier this week. I miss watching cartoons on Saturday mornings. Do those even play for kids anymore on Saturday mornings? That was like a Saturday morning ritual. Like, wake up like super early at like 6 a.m. and start watching cartoons. That was also back when Kirby and Sonic had their own TV shows too. Let's see, we get a Mountain for now. Get a Devour, he is immune, so we'll just have to go throw down a Curse. And he'd be dead. If the enemies have immune to Devour, or is Iron Gut useless? No, you can just use Curse. Curse and Stun if it's immunity that doesn't have immune to Stun on it. But generally, the easiest way to go about it is just Curse them, then Devour them. But there's ways to bypass immunity, like that. So he always has an option. The only thing he can't Devour is anything that has Indestructible. And there is a very small amount of troops that have it. The only thing that have Indestructible are the 6 Doom troops, which are from Tower of Doom and also player owns, and those towers that are in Invasions, and Zugoff, specifically the Zugoff in Raids. Those are the only things that do not have cannot be devoured by any means. But every single other thing in the game can be devoured, regardless of what other traits it might have. because Impervious and Immune to Devour and all that kind of stuff can just be bypassed with a what's it called? With a curse option. And there are other things other than Mirage Queen that can do it. The Mirage Queen is the cheapest option and generally the best, just because it has Skull Spam attached to it as well. Have I seen spoilers on the next Mythic? I have not looked at the next Mythic yet. Mostly because it's a whole month away still. Like the first week of December away. Still got some time. But I'll probably check it in about a week or two once it gets a bit closer. I don't tend to check content that far ahead. Some things I do, like delves. Is because it's really useful to know like what upcoming delves are coming as far as what kingdom they're associated with. But as far as actual troops, I tend to wait like almost until it's almost here. Just because they tend to change them last minute. Hey, you subscribe to Funimation to watch anime? That works too. I haven't watched anime in, gosh, how long has it been? 6 or 7 years, I think it's been since I've watched any anime. Oh, let's see. We'll go for that for now. And he'd be dead. It's something I might eventually get back into. I never was like extremely huge on it though. There were like a few series that I watched and that was about it. Next Mythic will be great for Guild Wars. Well, that's good. Always great to have more Guild War options. Grey King still seems kind of iffy as far as Guild War is concerned. Like, he's something that on paper seemed like it could potentially be good for Guild Wars. But between how AI uses it and how rarely you'd be able to use it offensively, it doesn't really help too much. At least in my opinion. It's just the AI is not consistent enough with it at all. And it has such a high mana cost because it's a Mythic that you can normally hard counter it before it gets to do its hard counter. It's the other really big issue that what's-his-name has too, using Undyne on defend. Well, the AI can't really mess up Undyne as much, because it's going to hit their correct color. The problem with it is it has such a high mana cost of 24 that it is hard for the AI to get it operational. Pretty much any Mythic that you just don't like force feed with Explosion can be really hard to actually end up getting the AI to feed. Because they don't know how to prioritize troops properly. They just take whatever, pretty much. No, exactly. They like try countering out the enemy. But countering out the enemy doesn't necessarily help out your team sometimes. Depending on what colors or skulls it's trying to take out. Good afternoon, James. Welcome. Also, hello, G-Man. Hello, Neil. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Vladimir. Let's see. We'll go for this. Yeah, that kind of reminds me what Zeddicus just said. I don't think I've actually ever used any modern streaming service or anything like that. Like, I've never really used Netflix. I've never used, like, any of those subscription kind of things. I've never actually used. I should look into them eventually. Like, I've technically used it at friends' houses, because they obviously use it. But a lot of, like, the more modern things I don't end up using. I don't use Keeble either. Like, anything that can even remotely be considered, like, TV series, quote-unquote, I've, like, don't even watch anymore. I'd even own a TV for like 6 years until I just got one last year because I got a Switch. And literally the only thing I use that TV for, which is right there, is for the Switch. Actually, that's where the camera is right now because I don't have a mounts, which I am getting soon. I am getting a proper webcam mount, and probably a proper mic mount, because I'm still using like the default mic stand that it has. But I'm probably getting that in a month. I'm going to be doing a ridiculously huge Amazon haul very, very soon. I wonder if I can use my own affiliate link. Hold up. I might need to become a Amazon affiliate. Does anyone know if you are allowed to use your own Amazon link and still profit from it? Like, literally use the exact same account and then use the Amazon link associated to that account? I don't think that's possible. I think you would have to do it with a different account. I'm not 100% certain. That'd be really hilarious. I've never thought of that. That would be pretty funny. I'm pretty sure they have something in their terms of service that says you're not allowed to do that. But what's the difference? I'm still buying from them. Let's see. Anyways, keep moving. Yeah, I'm pretty anti anything that has a monthly charge associated to it. That doesn't mean I do literally nothing that has a monthly charge, but I'm really hesitant on anything that ever does, because I like to own things that anything I ever get. I hate having to like rent it out, basically, where you just pay for having a service for a duration of time. I'd rather just completely own it. Also, I just realized he's copying my Iron Gut. I should probably kill that. If that hits our Iron Gut, we are in trouble. We actually auto-lose this if he manages to get that Devourer off. Oh, should have taken an extra turn. Hello, Eagosum. Welcome. But yeah, that's something I've actually never paid for, ever, is music. Not that I, like, illegally download music, but I just always watch it on YouTube. Like, if I ever want hear any song, I just simply go and watch it on YouTube. Like, why would I ever need to buy any song? I could understand to maybe, like, support a smaller, producer. But, like, major people, they make so much money already that why would you want to give them even more? Like, anyone who's big enough to be on the radio is completely loaded with more cash than you could ever fathom. In most situations. What do we grab here? Go for this one. What is Spotify? Isn't Spotify that one music playlist thingy? I've never used it before. I've heard of it, though. And I believe some streamers use it, too, to stream playlists on their streams. You can't really do that with YouTube, though, because YouTube will demonetize you within seconds. But people on Twitch don't really care as much, because Twitch is way more lenient with it. Same as Mixer. And kill it out. How do I have exactly 100 attack on Iron Gut? We are... actually, I can show you the full breakdown. Might be a little bit easier than trying to say everything. Oh, I needed to do it at the beginning of a delve, though. I can't show it while midway through a delve. Okay, I'll show you the full breakdown once we get to the beginning of the delve. Because I can't click on it until we get back to the beginning. Because it doesn't let you edit your team while you're doing a delve. And you can only see it on the edit team page. All the bonuses that I want to show. Yeah, it is pretty funny that we have literally exactly 100. I didn't plan that. It just happened to work out that way. That we got exact on the dot 100. Okay, let's get a mountain there. And then let's get the other convert right there. Luckily, it's still an extra turn, just in a different way. Actually, it gives even more mana than it was before, so he upped this out there. And dead. There we go, next battle. What do we have, 1.3? Yeah, let's just do this one then. The other one can't be higher. Well, ways that you can make it higher is metals, getting more attack kingdoms to level 10 if you haven't already done that. Getting more... I'm trying to think of some other ones that are actually really easy to do. There aren't too many. They're like easy. A lot of ways that you increase your stats are like long-term things. If your guild hasn't already done it, doing the red task to all 12 red tasks gives you, I believe, 3 attack or 4, however many it was. What else is there? There's a bunch off of kingdoms, but those take so much longer other than getting them all to level 10. Like, everything beyond that can take a while. But if you haven't already, get all the 5-star kingdoms to... or get every attack kingdom to 5 stars. Because that's decently easy to do. And that ends up giving you a decent amount of attack. I'll show the full breakdown in a second. It'll be a little bit easier to explain where it's all coming from specifically, and then you can compare it to your own. I believe it's mostly from kingdom upgrades that's making the difference, though. Which is one of the harder ones to actually get up, though. Okay, I'll go for that, and get a good apothecary down. There we go, and now let's go and devour him. Actually, I might just be getting sick. Might not even be from anything. I think I'm just getting sick. Not sure from what, though. Oh, it might be seasonal allergies. It's starting to get towards winter. And I get seasonal allergies for literally every season. And now that's starting to get colder, I'm probably just starting to get allergies from it. My body hates temperature change. My eyes in particular, they like if a room goes from like really hot to really cold or really cold to really hot, or any kind of similar instance, my eyes start to like water and go all weird. Like they don't like the temperature contrast so quickly. Okay, final battle, and then I can go show the thing I wanted to go mention. All the stats that are giving us exactly 100 attack. There we go, let's get rid of that first. Let's get explosion. Actually, I probably should just went for apothecary. That was perfect apothecary setup. Luckily, we got a really good cascade, so it didn't matter. Get herself a purple convert, get it all the way to full mana. Always have to deal with doppelganger. And he'd be dead. That was a really quick battle. That was like the quickest battle in the entire dove, even though it was the highest amount of stats. There we go. Claim all rewards. And we're almost halfway there. Okay, let me go show the page I wanted to go show. So here is our full amount of bonuses. So, first set of bonuses. These are from kingdoms. The first 10 are from level 10 all kingdoms, which is pretty easy to do. You just throw a bunch of gold, around 130,000 into every single attack kingdom. And that should give you, I believe, 10 attack. I believe that's where it's come from, right? Yes. Because then you do 10 and 10. Wait, is there 10 attack kingdoms? Why does it seem like there's less than that? Hold up. That might be including the other bonus. Well, it's still some amount of attack, but it's somewhere around 8 or so. That might be also including the other bonus you get when you upgrade a kingdom to, what's it called? When you upgrade a kingdom to level 15. Oh yeah, it definitely is, including the ones to 15. I have like 1 or 2 of those right now, I believe. But, yeah, I think it's 8 kingdoms that are attack kingdoms, or somewhere around there. But regardless, do every single attack kingdom to level 10, and that would give you about half that much. 3 attack is just from, as I mentioned, if you do all 12 red tasks in your guild. 2 of my attack is from having a high renown. I forget the exact area where you'd end up reaching that 2 attack. I believe it's somewhere around 30,000, 28,000, somewhere around that of total renown. That's not too important to have. It says it's a relatively small amount. We're getting 35 from potions. This ended up costing us 2,110 gems this week to do the event. but we'll be able to get Pure Faction. We're going to be able to get a bunch of loot as we're going through the delves, and overall, it's probably going to be worth it. But that did end up costing us 2,110 gems to run the entirety of this event, and then to be able to do 500 Pure Faction, and that's where 35 of our extra attack is, which is probably a good bulk of the attack that you don't have. Then we're getting 18 specifically from Delve. This is just having the Delve at level 100. This is one of the areas that you could easily end up increasing just by throwing more treasure into the Delve. You can have that as high as 36 if you end up going to level 200 Delve rather than 100, which would be a pretty substantial increase. And other than that, you can increase this number to 12 by equipping 4 plus 4 attack medals. The only reason I only have 1 equipped is because that's already 100 attack, and I did not need to go any higher than 100 attack. So I only have 1 equipped rather than 3. But that you can easily increase to 12. Probably the easiest out of any of these. It would be to increase that one to 12 rather than 4. And yeah, that's pretty much the full breakdown of how we are getting the exact 100 attack for our Iron Gut. One other way that you could technically get it higher too, though I highly doubt anyone is, or not too many people have gone around to it. But it is possible to get him to silver and gold upgrades, which will end up giving him a total of 4 attack eventually, extra. However, that is ridiculously hard to do, and I'm pretty sure no person in the entire game even has 1 mythic done yet. It's absurdly hard, and takes a really high amount of luck if you're using lower rarity metals as well. Pretty sure most people aren't bothering to try it. It's extremely expensive on souls to attempt to do it too. It could take literal hundreds of thousands just to upgrade a single troop, which is quite a lot of souls to say the least. Yeah, I haven't seen a single person have mythic. Not even to like the first rarity. And even then, they're almost better spent using them on legends. Don't copy our Iron Gut. We'll devour it immediately anytime you do, so it doesn't devour us back. So basically, Potion of Power. Yeah, the most immediate way that you could get more stats is this Potion of Power. However, that's also the most expensive way of getting more stats. Yes, Potion of Power is +7 all stats per 200 gems. Once you've spent 1,110 gems, every additional 200 gems is 7 to all stats. That's really only worth it if you're like particularly late in the game and you have a reserve of like over 5,000 or 10,000 gems. Are the only times you really bother doing that, particularly over 10,000, I would say. Like the average person in the game likely wouldn't be doing like Pure Faction like we're doing. It's good to do in late game, and particularly in end game when you've completed nearly everything. Because it's one of the few like really decent gem sinks that still exist in the game. Like one of the ones that you actually want to go for, that can actually get you decent value from a really late game, end game perspective. But earlier on in the game, you don't really bother spending this much gems on these events, if any at all. At most, you'd probably do enough just to get all the rewards from the shop, and that's it, and then you would stop. Kind of like how you would do with Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter, you generally just buy up to about tier 5 or so in order to get every single reward from the event. And then you just simply stop doing the event. You don't bother going for leaderboard. And if you're doing delves, when you're doing it with a lower amount of gems, that's basically what you do. I forget exactly what tier you would need to buy up to be able to do that. But I believe if you buy up to like tier 4 or 5, I forget exactly which, I believe that's enough to be able to go and complete out the delve to be able to get all rewards. Somewhere's around there ends up being able to accomplish that. And you also end up getting the faction's weapon in the process as well, which is something you were going to likely have to craft anyway, so it works out quite nicely. The current weapon's not that good, but you still want it for completionist purposes and for eventual kingdom upgrades. Oh, you're sitting on around 500 gems, yeah. I wouldn't bother going that far with it then. Just go for all rewards and probably just do that. Pure Faction is insanely hard to do, because you have to either throw a absurd amount of resources at it, or you have to get really lucky. Like, really lucky. Like, you still do low-level Pure Factions. Like, if you can't do 500 Pure Factions, you should still be doing, at minimum, level 100 Pure Faction on every single delve. But aside from that, you don't really deal with 500 Pure Faction. 500 Pure Faction is currently the hardest thing in the entire game to do, due to it costing an absurd amount of resources, as well as, if you're not doing it with those resources, it's just extremely luck-based. Okay, let's get this Devour, if it'll let us. Come on now. There we go. And he'd be dead. Yeah, for Tuesday Delves, you can get the entire event done with just tier 1. You just buy tier 1 and boom, you got the entire event done. It's as easy as that. But for the 3-day ones, I believe you need a bit higher than tier 1. I don't think tier 1's enough. Last I recall, you need at least tier 4. But I haven't done it normally for ages. Like, it's been almost a year since I've done a delve normally like that. Or maybe not that long. But it's been about, actually it almost has probably been about a year, now that I think about it. And by normally, I mean only doing it for its, for all loot. Like, not going for pure faction, just doing simply for all loot. I don't think I've done that for, yeah, almost a year now. It's been a very, very long time. Oh, you're still trying to get all the kingdoms? Oh yeah, that's still a process. If you're looking for gold, PvP early on in the game is your best bet for farming gold. 3 trophy might still be too hard for you, but doing 1 trophy and 2 trophy battles in PvP tends to be pretty decent gold. PvP is the best gold rate in the entire game. However, they did add a new explore system, the most recent patch. And later in the game, explore is quicker than PvP. Actually, possibly even early in the game, but you need to have enough damage that you can actually win. Which, from a very early game perspective, like where you're at, probably don't have the stats for that yet. Low-level explore could still be done, though. If you go get a Rowain from Forest of Thorns and just build it around like a Mountain Crusher in first slot, you can end up getting away with probably explore level 5 or 6. And just set yourself, once you get them from Explore, set yourself 3... Oh, I did not mean to target that one. Just set yourself 3 medals of Yasmin, the one that give armor. And then, boom, you just give yourself 48 additional damage to your Rowain per cast. Which, from an early game perspective, 48 damage is absurdly high. Man, that's not something I've really mentioned too much yet. I think I've made, like, hints at it. But, doing Explorer is insanely good for early game players up until getting all of the lower rarity medals. And the main reason for this is obviously the tokens or the medals end up giving you X amount of stats based on just static numbers. So earlier on in the game, those stat numbers are way more effective than they are later in the game. Not that they aren't effective, like right now we just used it to go get Iron get to 100 attack, which was obviously extremely effective, so now he has 100% rate rather than us having to waste on potions. But early on in the game, they were even more effective, since if you're currently having like 50 total durability between HP and armor, and you can give yourself 24 extra HP or armor, that's quite a substantial buff to your overall troop. Whereas obviously if we did 24 or something like this, while it helps, it's not gonna be like game-breakingly different. We'll take that for now. Grab a mountain. I'm actually surprised by the complete lack of rebalance that they ended up doing last patch for medals. Like, nothing was really tweaked at all, for the most part. Like, they increased stats quite substantially, but didn't actually tweak anything. I know back in the day, they used to do that every single patch. Like, they used to tweak so much from a troop perspective, but now they barely touch troops. And I think the main reason for that is they've had a lot of backlash in the past when they have touched troops, is because they've over-nerfed several troops in the past. And I guess they're just concerned of trying to do that again on accident. But I don't know, they've been doing kingdom reworks. They've been trying to do like 2 kingdom reworks per year. I believe the most recent one we've had, it was last February, where we had a Pen's Veil rework. Those seem to roll out really slowly though, as you can tell by the fact that our last one was like in February or March. But I believe they did say in their most recent Q&A that they're aiming for like 2 per year kingdom reworks. I believe what's her name is mostly in charge of that. Wow, why'd I forget her name all of a sudden? Not Surian, but Nimhane. It's just a really uncommon name. I'm pretty sure it's more common in Australia, but I've never heard the name Nimhane in America. Actually, even Surian, I don't think I've ever heard that name, other than in Puzzle Quest. Oh, we'll go for that. Grab our Devour there. And explode all the things. Though I say that, but people would probably also say they've never heard the name Tacet, because Tacet isn't really used too often. Even in music, where it's like supposed to be used, it's used extremely rarely. It's not that common of a term. There we go. And now we just go for a nice apothecary and should be match. We'll stick that, get our devour out, and up be match. So close to that level, yet so far. Also so close to the end of the delve, but also so far. Well, we're pretty much at the halfway point now, as far as delve completion. But still got a ways to go. Oh no, I might consider the skip method at 300 or so. Because we almost have enough sigils to go all the way at this point. After we get 2 more Vow Ravens, the amount of Vow Ravens we'd get while skipping should be enough to go all the way. Plus there's a chance I might need to increase my stats even more. Because I am running a little low on stats right now. But hopefully we can just luck it out on the final battles. There we go. Okay. Let's grab, what do we need here? Get a Devourer onto first out there. Grab a Mountain onto... Oh, that's not the color I wanted. Luckily, it still did what I needed. So I guess that works. Grab that. Grab that. Get another Apothecary. Actually, I'm going to grab full mana first. And he is already dead. Was that just first turn? I don't think that was first turn. It was pretty close to first turn, though. And he is dead in like 1 or 2 turns. Too bad they don't have a turn tracker in game. They have a time tracker as of several patches ago. But I don't believe there's anything that tracks the number of turns. Nah, there's nothing that tracks turns. That would actually be an interesting troop concept, now that I think about it. They don't have any troop that boost ratios based on how many turns have gone by. Though if they were to do that, they would definitely have to put that data on this page. But that would be a really interesting premise. Because the further a battle goes, the stronger it'd be. It'd be a really solid Guild War troop. Something that has a boost ratio based on how many turns have gone by. What medals am I currently using? 20% mana starts, 10% cleanse, and +4 attack. You can easily replace out the cleanse with more attack. The reason I'm only running +4 attack rather than something higher is Iron Gut already has 100 attack without needing another one. He has actually exactly 100 with the setup I have. So I just set a Cedric there. Up, level 1,490. Nice. Okay, let's go and put this onto red. Keep them all nice and even. Oh, so I haven't even claimed these yet. I should probably go do that. Reflecting on life for the title. But this is what all rewards from a faction event looks like. Or a weekend faction event, I should say. The ones that we get once a month. It is 2 Vault Keys, 10 diamonds, 1,950 souls, 80,000 gold. That's weird. Why is this one a normal number and all the other ones are such weird numbers? 500 shards for normal orbs, 7 mythic ingots, a new title, and a new portrait. Okay, let's see what we get from all that. Anything good? Small purple's okay. Come on, purple or blue? Okay, we only got a small purple that was relevant. Oranges are useless to me this late in the game. Let's go check on leaderboard. How's leaderboard doing today? Gosh, people are grinding out like crazy. They're still fighting for it. Actually, they're still fighting for it, too. Alright, let me go check down here. Yeah, I believe doing every single room to completion won't even be enough. So I might start doing the skipping method. It looks like a lot of these people did do the, do every single possible room when they end up doing their thing. Particularly people that are, like, up here with not 500. Ended up likely doing that method as well. Yeah, like all the people around, like, this general area, like these 480s, 490s, that 490. They likely didn't skip a single room. My only concern is that there's going to be way more people that are going to get on that leaderboard as the thing goes on, and the fact that it's already at like 60-something is a bad sign, which means we probably are going to start skipping soon. Might even start skipping immediately. We're in a position where we can actually just start skipping and just move forward. I don't know, what do you guys think? Skip or no skip? Let's see, what's the amount of sigils we have right now? 19. With 19, if we're doing skips, we can assume about 2 Val Ravens, approximately. Let's see. So we're at 270 plus 19, or I should say 190. Okay, that brings us to 460. 2 Val Ravens. That brings us exactly to 500. So I might need to buy one more pack. Which I guess at this point wouldn't be too bad. That means we would have spent 2,310 gems on this event to get Pure Faction done. And it'll make the final battle a bit easier. I guess I'm leaning towards skip. We do pass so many treasure rooms, though. And decent loot. But I do believe for time's sake, we do actually go for skip method. I guess we're going skip method. This is normally around the time when I start skipping anyways. And this delve does have a really nice skip layout in that you can just go straight through it. This delve is pretty much perfect in every single regard. The only thing that's not perfect about it is you can't do every single room from the starting room. But aside from that, it is pretty much as perfect as you can get. Actually, I should say City of Thieves is actually, layout-wise, City of Thieves is about as perfect as you can get from a overall loot perspective. However, the actual treasure room-wise amount, I guess this one is slightly better. But it has a little bit of a weirder pathing to it compared to how City of Thieves is. Okay, now we're going to start moving through very, very quickly. Since we only have to do 3 battles now rather than 9. Basically doing a third the battles. That reminds me, I still never maxed out the troops, by the way. We should probably go do that. The troops that we need for Pure Faction, that is. Oh, 6 chests. That's not too bad for a skip. That means we got in every single upgrade we possibly could have. Nice. Anyways, let me go upgrade this real quick before I forget. I forgot how many more copies we need, though. Actually, while we're in this menu, I guess we'll check. I'll keep track exactly. I believe we need 1 legend and some amount of the common. I mean, the rare. Where's mirrored thing? Mirrored halls. Oh, never mind. We already have it. Never mind. Scratch that. I just didn't bother upgrading them. Never mind, we're already there. Nice. That means the rest of them we can use at a later time. Grab that. Throw a small green on you. Oh, oops. I was wondering, why can't I do it? Duh. There we go. Oh! I might still need to buy more. What if we want to use multiple copies of it? Never mind. I need to go until we get 1 more legend. Whoops. I forgot. Wait, never mind. We have 2 copies. What am I saying? Never mind. We have 2 copies. Ignore what I just said. I thought we only had 1 copy for a second. Yeah, we have 2 copies. I don't think we'd be using any team that uses 3 of her. I might just even be using a team that just uses 1 anyways. Yeah, we'll go with that for now. And if we truly needed more, it won't hurt us to throw a little bit of shards at where to go? At Mirrored Faction. I have to keep doing it in the other place that I'm not used to where it's actually located. Oh, I should have delayed one of these battles. It's still not too late. Let me do that on there. Because it's pretty good loot for a delay. Also, you know what else I need to go delay? Half Guardians, because we've been attempting on that. Maybe we'll give it another attempt later. so we have something to do with our other scroll. But anyways, the other thing I need to go do real quick, we need to go and I guess we open until we get 1 copy of the legend. Just in case we ever feel like running a team that runs 3 of her, which I highly doubt we'll ever do. But in case I might want to consider that for pure faction, we'll do it real quick. There we go, we got it. Okay, that's all we need to do. And now the rest of the shards we save for the new faction in a month from now. Grab all this. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go back to games. Oh, I was already in the right location. Go to, not that, go to new faction. It's weird that it doesn't place that as the very first thing. And let's keep dashing through. Oh, so hello, Cynical! Welcome! Okay, we'll take a Apothecary onto green for now. Get all that going, and start devouring everything. All the things must go down. Also, we'll probably, since we're rushing now, we'll probably hand out a code at 350. At, not the minute mark, but at the delve number. Once we get to around 350, we'll probably hand out a code. Which should be relatively quick now that we're skipping. Since each delve now takes around a third the time. Quite literally, since it's in 3 different paths. I didn't even notice that. It's like in 3 groups of 3, the way that the delve is set up. It's almost like a grid, but the way they have it set up doesn't make it look like a grid. Yeah, I'm still working on my new interface. And as I mentioned, it was properly canceled earlier, so we're good to go. Unfortunately, it didn't go back to my PayPal, though. I still need to go and see if that's even possible. I'll need to either look that up. Or if anyone has ever opened anything on Fiverr, do you happen to know if you can get it back to your normal, from the place where you actually paid? Or do they force you to have to spend it back on the platform? I don't mind that too much. Like, I hate when companies do that. But, I was already probably going to be getting something else from Fiverr eventually anyways, so not too big a deal. I just prefer it being in my PayPal. Because then I can obviously use it for anything. Also, my PayPal is getting pretty low. Though I have enough money in the bank that doesn't matter too much. I think there's like 600 in my PayPal right now. Maybe even less. Or actually, probably is less than that because I just, I forgot the 95 isn't in there anymore. It's probably like 500 now. I generally don't put too much in there. What do we take here? Although I probably should soon because, oh, then again, I think I could take it out directly from the bank. Because, when we get the new computer and everything, that's obviously going to be more than what I have in there. Actually, I should probably do that preemptively. Because I think it has, like, a delay to it. Does PayPal actually charge if you take it directly from your bank? Like, if you take it from a checking off your PayPal? I've never actually bothered doing that because generally I don't bother buying something that costs like over 1,000 online. Okay, get another devour there. Get the purples we need. Mount on all the things. And dead. Yeah, I'll probably transfer it over just in case. Because I forget what PayPal's policy is on it. I need to also start making a list of everything I need. I've been browsing around, but I haven't made like a proper list yet. I'm also still browsing for what laptop I actually want. Because the likely game plan is, we're going to get a really decent laptop that I plan to use as my laptop pretty much forever. So we're going to be doing that, and that's going to be my laptop replacement, and like probably oh, let's see. Do we convert here? I guess we do it on green for now. You've never been charged by PayPal using your checking directly? I don't think they ever have for me, because I've never actually used it. Like when I was looking at like the transaction things, I think it does if I take it from my savings, but from my checking, I don't think it actually does have the fee on it. The problem is I also don't have that much money in checking, so I should probably go to the bank and just take it out of savings then. Because all the money I make from ad revenue just goes straight to my savings. Oh, I'll take this. We'll grab a... I'll take a apothecary there. Get our iron guns to that. Get our explosion everywhere. Hello, David! Hello, Zakid! Welcome, welcome. Oh, what do we grab here? I'll take that for now. It charges if you send to a debit card. Well, mine is a debit card. But not when you send it to checking. Wait, aren't they the same thing? I'm not too knowledgeable on cards. But aren't those two the things the exact same thing? A checking and a debit card? Well, 1% of, like, multiple thousand is a lot of money. Like, if I'm getting 2,000 to 3,000 worth of stuff, let's say 3,000, that's $30 if it's 1%. $10 is max they take, okay. I might still gonna go away that it doesn't take any though, ideally. Why pay them more when you don't have to? Does finishing the boss room in a faction assault raise the level of the actual delve because yours are mismatched? What do you mean by that? But yes, it does. But you have to keep in mind that the amount of stats... I explained this some yesterday, too. But the amount of stats for every single room is based on what number it is. So, a Tier 1 room has 50% stats, and it goes all the way up to 100% stats for this room. So, for example, a Tier 1 has 50% stats based on that, so they're going to be level 150 in this particular instance. Tier 2s have 60%. Tier 3s have 70%, Tier 4s have 80%, Tier 5s have 90%, and the Mythic rooms have 100%. So when we do this battle, it's going to have the full amount of level. So right here, you're going to see every single thing here is going to be level 300, as you can see by the number right there. However, this room right over here should be 150, as you can see by that number right over there. And that also means that this number right here should be 180, as you can see right there. And that means this number should be 270. And there it is. But yeah, it's based on percent, and it should be, what's the math on that? That's 210. And it should be 240, and then 270. But yeah, you can just see it's It's whatever tier room it is how much percent of the total amount of level they have based on the kingdom. Where rare, I mean, where their common white one is 50%, and the mythic one is all the way at 100%, and everything in between just goes and increases by increments of 10%. If that's what you're referring to. It's why throughout a delve you'll see different stats across the rooms. And that's mostly just to make the harder tier rooms a little bit harder. Or, you know, the higher tier rooms, like tier 5s, tier 6s. Oh, the reason why those two are different levels is it goes based on your faction can be paused. So you could actually literally be on a level 20 faction on your delve while you're on a level 500 within your event. Just because it saves whatever the last one you ended up saving into the scroll. So if you ended up, like right now, I ended up doing a 280. So if we go back to our delve at any point throughout the day or right now, it'll show that we're at a 280 delve for our normal faction. But we're at like 300 something right now, or actually exactly 300. But it ends up pausing based on that. Also, you generally, even if you didn't have any of them paused with using one of your daily scrolls, it'll still show 10 behind where you currently are. So for example, if I go to mine, it should show 290. Will show two numbers right now. The number that should be on this is 290, and the number that should be on the actual battle is 280. So the reason this says 290 is they're just 10 behind. And the main reason for this is you actually haven't completed out a level 300 delve. So if I was to actually click on this when I didn't have a delve saved, it would show us three options, a 280, a 290, and a 300, which is why it currently shows a 290 here, because we have the capability of doing a 300, but we haven't actually completed a 200. This number here is the highest one that you've actually completed. And since we haven't done one yet, it's just 10 behind. This shows 280 right now, even though we're already past that in both locations. And the main reason for that is we used one of our scrolls, and this just saves the location. And this can be done for any amount of time. Like I could do all the way to 500, come back to this like a week from now, and it'll still be at 280. But then the second we do it, it'll be at the highest delve we ever did, which is saved right there, which is currently 290. Or 300 as soon as we finish out this thing. Where'd it go? This. And as soon as we take this chest, it'll show 300 at that number. And now if we go back, it should be 300, even though it says 310. And that's just because it shows the highest delve we've completed. And obviously we just completed a 300, and that's why it shows 300. And this will still show 280, even though we just moved forward, because we saved it with one of our daily scroll things at a lower level. Anyways, let's keep moving. Back to faction. Fight. And keep moving forward. Well, that's why I was going to transfer the money earlier. Because if you're doing a non-instant transfer on PayPal, I believe it takes 0. Pretty sure it doesn't take any. If you're just putting money onto it. It might take a little while for it to initialize. But I'm not going to need it, like, immediately. If I do it right now, I'm not going to need it for, like, a week or two. Because obviously some deals will occur before Black Friday's actually around, or Cyber Monday. I'm still keeping an eye on some of the items that I'm planning on getting. I should probably have all of them bookmarked, actually. I need to, like, make a little Word document and, like, bookmark literally every single product I'm looking for. And just keep checking them, like, every other day, pretty much. And to see what deals are for them, or similar products related to them. Gosh, what even is the full list of stuff I want? For the channel. We need better webcam. Just so we have 2 webcams as an option as well. Mic I'm probably going to keep as is. I'm not sure on mic. But the biggest issue with mics is I'm not really good with knowledgeable with mics at all. So, like, getting a better mic, I wouldn't really know what to look for the most part. I'd probably, if I ever was to get a better mic, I'd probably want to get a non-USB mic. Just because USB mics are a little bit more limited in what they can do. They're a lot cheaper, which is good, and they're still decent quality. Because we've been using it for the last few years and haven't really had, like, any issues. But, there's less stuff that you can do with them. Which, I don't know. At the moment, that doesn't really matter. But if we were to ever do, like, voice effects or stuff, we'd probably want to get a different mic. I don't know, it's something I might want to look into. It's just a lot of mic setups like that I don't think I would really want to bother with. I don't know. Good mics are good to have. Audio quality is probably one of the most important things. Especially since people who aren't even watching us, who are just, you know, watching it on the side while they're doing something else. That's literally the only thing they hear is audio. So literally nothing else matters other than the audio and the connection not going down. For people that are just watching us peripherally, who aren't actually looking at the stream, but are just simply listening to the stream. I'll grab a mountain. I forget what it's called. I know what the cord things looks like, but I forget exactly what it's called. But there's a different type of mic that it has a lot more adjustable options as far as what you can do with it. It also has better, more studio-like quality, and it also has better capability when trying to do like voice modifications. Like if you want a higher or lower pitch, if you want to do like alterations for sound effects and stuff like that. Because USB mics can't really do it that well. It's not really something that important, that aspect of it. But it'd still be a cool thing to have. If we're going for like novelty stream-related things to have. XLR? It might be called XLR. I still need to look into it. Oh, what am I doing? I thought we already won. Oh, I could have just taken a skull too. Whoops. Oh, there we go. Still got a skull. I was like, hello, Corn, welcome. Oh, you didn't realize the stream was on. Well, we are. Yeah, we started earlier today. I know we started at noon yesterday, but I mentioned on last night's stream that we'd be starting at around 10 today. I think we started around 10:20 or so because I was eating breakfast in the morning. Let's see. Yeah, my day so far has been wake up, eat breakfast, stream. That has been my entire day so far. What do we grab here? Get a mountain. Get the other poke down. I keep like thinking it will not devour, but it's at 100%, so it can't not devour. Unless they have immune. If I accidentally click on one. What do we take here? But yeah, the reason why I mentioned that kind of microphone is there are normally soundboards that you can use for those. Whereas you can't really do that with USB mics. I don't think you can. Because right now, there isn't really too many options for me to adjust mic quality. Like, it's enough that it's normally fine, but it's not as much as we could potentially have. And then I could just do some research on how to modify it to be as good as possible. Get a more wholesome voice in there. If nothing else, at least this mic is way better than what we initially had. Our initial mic quality was so bad when we started this channel that people donated me to get a new mic. Like, we did a week-long stream to try to raise $130 to get a new mic around when we like first started up the stream. Like, we had the channel going already, but we didn't really start live streaming. And our first week of live streaming, we ended up getting the $130 we needed for a new mic within like 1 hour. We were doing like a week-long live stream, streaming for like 8+ hours a day, and we got it done in an hour. It was pretty funny, or pretty much an hour. It was hilariously quick. That's how bad the mic quality was before. But it's like decent right now. The other big issue is I don't really have a proper room for doing streaming. Like, I don't have any soundproofing in this place. There's literally a window right there that's making the green screen like go crazy sometimes. Luckily, it's angled in a way right now, the sun, that's not being an issue. But it definitely can be. Because there's a whole window right there that can just completely mess up the green screen during the day. Honestly, if I'm going to be staying in this place for a while, I might literally need to just board up that window. I'll move that over. Basically put up hurricane shingles or something on it, and then just leave it on year-round on that one specific window. Like, take it off of every other window, but leave it on that window, just so it blocks out all the light. Actually, that sounds like a really good idea for next year's hurricane season. Have it, like, implemented before then. But just to block out the light, put hurricane shingles on that window. Or whatever those things are called. Like, the things that are easily, like, movable. Just so you don't, like, constantly have them on. But for that specific one, it would constantly be on. And it's in a location where you can't see it from a road, so it won't look weird from an outside perspective to see in a boarded up window. Because no one would ever actually see that window. It is quite literally the only window that no one would ever see in the entire house. Every other window could technically be seen from somewheres, but that one would not be able to, due to how the houses are. Because the only thing you'll see from looking out that window is that other house that's right next to me, which is just a wall of the other house. So that window isn't even useful for anything. It doesn't even have a view. Let's see. It's such a weird location for a window. Go and get a apothecary. And then just kill it with that. Big day today, working in football. Sounds like a fun day. Super Bowl in a few months. I haven't been following football or any sports at all, though. But I do watch the Super Bowl just for the ads and to see how it goes. I feel like last year's Super Bowl was pretty boring, though. Mostly because both sides were playing so defensively. Which made it feel so elongated. Because no, like, really big plays were ever really done. Oh, what do we go for here? Let's take a red for now. Are you gonna take me to a football game when you visit the States? I actually used to go to my high school's football games. Mostly because most of the time I was kind of required to for pep band because I had to play during them. But they were pretty fun. It's an interesting experience, just kind of chilling with some friends, going to a football game, and just eating a bunch of snacks. Even things as boring as baseball can be fun that way, just going with friends and just kind of chilling, eating a bunch. Things like sports tend to have pretty good concession stands. Not like the best food you'd ever eat, but, you know, from a taste perspective, it tends to have pretty decent stuff more often than not. I know even when I used to do marching band competitions, they would still have really good concessions because they would just use their football concessions for marching band concessions. So it was all the same stuff that they would normally have for football games. What instrument did I play? Percussion. Mostly mallets and various drums, but just the entirety of percussion. So I didn't really get into, like, piano-like percussions, if you even consider those, like, percussion rather than strings. But, mostly anything that required something to hit are the things that I was mostly playing. But pretty much the entirety of percussion, with a focus on mallets, is what I mainly played. I used to even do solo competition for mallets, and ended up winning 3 times a free ride to band camp as well. And that was a pretty fun experience, all 3 times. Yeah, piano is normally considered strings, because you're literally, like, hitting strings. It doesn't look like you're hitting strings, but if you look inside a piano, you're hitting strings. I know, I never really had enough finger coordination to ever get into piano or anything like that. Which is funny because you actually need finger coordination for gaming. But it's a completely different type of finger coordination. Oh yeah, competitions are a lot of fun. I miss going to Saturday competitions. Those were like probably some of my funnest experience in middle school and high school. We're going to marching band competitions with a bunch of friends in marching band and then having to compete and then relaxing for the rest of the time until we have to claim whatever rewards we won or didn't win. We did very good our first 2 years, but the other 4 years went pretty bad because we ended up getting a different band director. And also some of like the really major people within the band ended up leaving at that point because they ended up, well, you know, graduating. So it kind of just fell apart between those two factors simultaneously. First 2 years were really amazing. The 2 during middle school in 7th and 8th grade. Because that was still when we had the first professor that was there. And a lot of good friends. Actually, I was best friends with the person that finished second in my class for my high school, actually. I believe she ended up finishing second, whatever that's called. There's a special term for that. The last I recall, she ended up finishing second in class. And she would have made first if it wasn't for the fact she also did marching band. Because the one who made first wasn't in any, like, extracurricular activities. So he had more time to study and stuff like that. Let's see, we'll go for that. Yeah, I actually don't play any instruments anymore, though. Like, even though I did it all the way up to 18 in high school, I actually don't really do it anymore now. Like, I haven't played an instrument since high school. I still know how to read sheet music and stuff. Probably a lot worse than I used to be able to be. But, like, I still know how. But yeah, it's been ages. What do we need here? Grab the other damage source down, in case it feels like poking us. Pretty sure that won't be too big a deal, but just in case. I'm not sure if I'll ever pick up an instrument again. It's definitely a lot of... It's a really fun hobby to have. I'm just not too musically inclined, though. What do we take here? We'll grab the brown over. Like, if I was to ever get in music again, I'd probably get into learning how on earth to actually create music digitally. If I was to ever get into music again. Oh, take it. We'll grab that for now. Take a purple, grab mountain. DJ Tacet. Watch out for the music video dropping in 2 years. No, just kidding. That would probably never happen. I know, it's something I always did want to try. That and getting into animation, but I have, like, no drawing skill. Like, I tried to get into it in high school. I'm just so ridiculously incompetent at drawing, though. Though programs are getting better by the year or so. Maybe it'll be so easy eventually that, like, literally anyone with no skill at all can, like, start getting into it. I'll grab that, get a mountain. Take the other thing over. Try and get down. Yeah, since I'm not getting the overlay, there are still a few things I need to get commissioned for this channel. So if anyone has any capability of drawing, let me know. Especially if you can do it for free. Though I can end up paying too. Also, I apparently have almost $100 on Fiverr that I need to go figure out how to spend now too. That should be pretty easy to do. I'm just not sure exactly what I would want to get off of Fiverr. I feel like that at this point, the best thing to do, since I'm going to do my own interface, would probably be to do some kind of animation. Maybe even an intro for a video. I know, I can't draw to save my life at all. I am extremely bad at drawing. I've been considering getting a drawing tablet just to practice some. But, I don't know, I am ultra bad at drawing. Why don't I buy better lights? That's within the plans. I'm getting better lights in a few weeks. We're going to be doing everything during Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. And we're going to be buying, like, literal thousands worth of equipment. Between a new laptop, new lighting, new webcam, possibly a new mouse, as this thing is pretty old, and I do want to have a backup one in case this thing ever dies. But yeah, a lot of stuff. We're going to be getting an absurd amount of new things. I've done commission work in the past. The only thing I hate about commission work is you'll always eventually get a really annoying client that makes the whole process just seem not worth it. Which is why I don't currently do any kind of commissions at the moment for anything. Like, most people are really easy to work with, but you'll eventually get that one person that makes you, like, never want to do it again. Let's see. Go for that. Get our iron gut. Grab ourselves a apothecary somewheres. Also, we still need to find 2 more Val Ravens, by the way. Where are all the Val Ravens? We have a very large lack of Val Raven. Though we'll probably just need to buy 1 more pack. It's not too big a deal. We probably need the extra stats anyway, since we didn't upgrade the faction. An extra 200 when we've already spent over 2,000 isn't really that big a deal. We're currently at 2,110 spent. So we'll probably get it done with 2,310. Oh, go get our explosion everywhere. Get ourselves the other Devourer. And what else we need? I guess we try for Sky Brown and get extra turn there. Unfortunately, it's a skull. We just Apothecary. Where's our free turn? I clicked this without actually seeing if we had a free turn. Look what we do. What am I looking for to be drawn? One of the main things I need at the moment are, like a decent looking custom, there's a few things. Decent looking custom backgrounds, a little animation thing that we can have that does something whenever we get like follow or any kind of other thing that ends up occurring on the channel, like notification wise. And I believe those were the main two things actually. And eventually from someone I might want to get like a full intro for a video, like a really professionally made one. I haven't been using intros for a while, but once I get a stream deck, I'm probably going to set it up in a way that we will have intros. Might even commission a short music clip as well. That's completely custom that we'll use for the channel. And just get that professionally made. We could probably get that for around under 100. Especially since it'll be really short anyways. Like a 30-second one we could easily just split up like 5 seconds for intro and the rest for outro or something. Which I forget, how long is YouTube's thing at the end? I believe it can last for 30 seconds. The YouTube outro. I forget if it's 20 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, or 30 seconds, how long the end thing can last. But basically just doing one commission and splitting it up into intro, outro. And that could easily be done for under 100 professionally. Oh, what do we grab here? I'll take that on red. But yeah, I've been wanting to do more modifications like that into the future. I just haven't had the skill to do it myself, nor the money to do it, like, actually get one. But we have the money now, so might as well. Like, the channel initially wasn't as profitable. And even now, it still makes less than minimum wage. But it's getting to the point where it's, you know, at least starting to get to the point where it's making some money. Like a decent amount. Because within the next year, we should hopefully be up to minimum wage. Which, being able to do this and still get minimum wage for it is pretty nice. Obviously, that's still a low amount of pay. But it's a lot of fun doing this. Also has really flexible hours. Also, it doesn't require a 40-hour work week. On average, I probably only work on the channel, I want to say 30 hours a week or so. Though some weeks can be less, some weeks can be more. I think it averages to about 30 hours a week. And most of that time is actually between generally Monday and Friday videos, and any guide video that I might do. Because normally we only stream for about 15 hours a week between setup and actual streaming. Yeah, I've never actually had multiple jobs at once, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to think. I technically was doing... Well, I've had multiple self-employed jobs before, but I've never had, like, two traditional jobs simultaneously. Like, where you go into a place, work several hours, then go to another place that's completely different, and then work several hours. I've never had that. I've had traditional jobs where I'd go to a place, work for several hours, and then, you know, then you go back. But, you know, a normal job. Pretty much how every job works for the most part. But, I've never had multiple of those ever at a single given time, but I have had multiple self-employed kind of things simultaneously. I don't know, I just prefer at this point being self-employed. It might like make a lot less money, especially initially, but it just has so much more flexibility with everything. And you actually get paid relative to like what you do, rather than just getting paid for, you know, whatever. Like, literally just being present sometime for, like, minimum wage jobs is pretty much just enough to get paid. Like, you don't have, like, any inspiration to really, like, do better, because you might not necessarily make more if you do better in a lot of dead-end jobs that are just more towards minimum wage and stuff like that. So, I don't know, being able to do stuff like this where your effort actually directly gets paid is pretty nice. Because I always find it weird, the concept of making the exact same amount of money, regardless of how much effort you put in. This just always seems like a really weird concept to me. Which is how a good majority of jobs work unless you get promoted. Or fired. And that's the other issue too, getting fired. Luckily what I do right now is pretty much impossible to get fired, to a degree. Like, it's possible that I could lose support and stuff like that, but there's that no point where my income goes from what I'm making down now to literally 0. There's no point where it would just flatline completely to 0. It might decrease a bit due to something, but it would never just completely go to 0. Oh, unless the stream drops. Ha! No, I was kidding. The stream hurt us. It's trying to drop it to 0. Let's see. We'll go and get our iron gut there. Thank you, Corn. Oh no, I definitely don't do this for the popularity. I would hate being popular. Even as the channel grows, it's like, I don't want to become too big. What is my dream job? I'm pretty much doing it. I am pretty much doing it now. Though I would love to, if college ever got way more affordable in the United States, I would love to get a degree to go do things with psychology as a side kind of thing. Like, not a full-time kind of thing, but kind of like while doing this YouTube channel, kind of having like some kind of psychology service of some form that I do on the side. Like counseling or something. Because I don't know, I really like talking with people and helping people in that regard. And I have studied it some in college, but I never really went towards any kind of degree. I was mostly just trying to get credits out of the way, initially. But no, pretty much this is already the dream job. I pretty much get paid for playing games, is essentially what we're doing. Of course, we do more than just that, because we do guides and other stuff, and constantly have to keep covering content. But that is pretty much what we're doing. It's a job that seems so unrealistic that when you're like younger, you would never really think that's like a possible thing, especially with how the landscape was like over a decade ago. But it's kind of funny that that's like an actual, like almost legitimate job now, where you can just create content for entertainment, on entertainment, and make money from it. Oh, what do we grab here? I'll take a mountain for now. We get ourselves the brown over. Get, do we have apothecary anywhere? Yes, we could do it on purple. Yeah, I know. My current degree I don't really use for anything. Though it is only associate's degree. The main reason I even got that degree is there's a law in New Jersey where if you complete out any degree, any college within the state has to accept 100% of your credits from the other college. And that's basically the main reason why I ended up doing that. I just stopped at the lowest possible degree, so it wouldn't cost that much money. And if I ever want to go back to further my education, I already have the all the credits, or you know, a lot of the mandatory credits I would need for most of the fields that I would want to go into. Because most of the classes I was taking, other than some of the mandatory stuff I had to for the thing, were related to writing and sociology and psychology. Which pretty much covers the whole range of things that I might want to further education in. The only real big issue with that, though, is most of those jobs that I want to get into pay really, really little right now. Like, we're talking like 30 to 50,000 a year. Which for having to get a whole, like, multi-$10,000 degree is not really that worth it. To have to spend tens of thousands just to get a job that's going to be doing like 30 to 50 a year. And that's even if I do it full-time. If I'm doing part-time, it'll be even less than that, of course. Because it would most likely be a side thing, not the main thing I do, if I ever was to do it. Oh, why am I trying to kill him with skulls? That's gonna take forever. That will take forever and a half. Let's see. Thank you, Drock. What's your strenuous hobby? I didn't end up catching that. There's like a few conversations going on, and I just completely missed where that one went. Let's see. There's a lot of useless degrees for no jobs and leaves kids in debt. Pretty much. I don't know. College in the current state of the economy just doesn't seem that worth it for most things. And I've just started making so much money from self-employed stuff, even back when I was in college itself, that I'm like, why am I even going to college? I was thinking that like my second year in college. Like, why am I doing this? Because there's so many other ways to make money that don't require any form of degree whatsoever. Especially with how the economy keeps developing. And to lock yourself into a single career just... While it could be a good decision if you can make a lot of money from that career, the problem is the consistency of making a lot of money from a career is starting to increasingly diminish over time. What do we grab here? I'll take that. Oh, grab that. Take the other thing over. Get the green over there, and then we just go for the iron gut. Oh yeah, creating animation videos is an extremely strenuous hobby. I have no clue how people can manage. Because you have to spend like literal weeks or months just to create one thing. Assuming that you're doing like a, you know, like a full animation thing. And potentially even upwards of a year if you're doing like a really in-depth kind of 3D thing. I know some people that do it as a hobby and it takes them sometimes like a year or two just to finish one project. And that's with assistance from others, too. Let's see. We'll take the purple there. Is the last troop on my team good? It's Mirage Queen. You get it from throwing shards at Sunken Fleet. It's considered a pretty decent troop. It's a skull spam troop that has curse all enemies. The curse all enemies is probably its most relevant aspect, as it's one of the best curse options currently in the game. It also gets to convert all greens to Doom Skulls, making a decent skull spam option. It's a skull spam option that has skull reduction, which is a decent synergy. And the main thing it's also used for, if not specifically for its curse. In this situation, we're using it for its curse. But its other big aspect is it gives all elementals 50% start. And there's a lot of really good elementals out there that can benefit from 50% starts, particularly Mythics. So, yeah, it's a pretty good troop. And mostly used for its curse and 50% start, both of which are insanely good. And it also has skull spam on top of that. It just has a lot of really good utilities on it. Between those three things. It has Doom Skull spam. It has 4 times curse. And it has 50% elemental start. And even if you're only using it for one of those aspects, it's normally worth it. And on some teams, you can use it for 2 or 3 of those aspects. And it's a troop that's pretty easy to obtain too. Because since it's a faction troop, you just throw about a few hundred shards at Sunken Fleet, and within about 1,000, you'd most likely get a copy of it, if not sooner. Okay, can we get Apothecary anyways here? We can do that on red. And then just mount and crush everything, and we're good to go. And then we just devour it out. Also, look at our Iron Gut stats right now. It is getting so high. Oh no! Oh, well, no, that's a fail. What a gigantic fail. He just copied my Apothecary, which has immune to Devour. And he actually got the trait because it was within the battle. I'm so used to them copying it and not having the ability to do that. Wait, how was he able to get it? I thought they don't get the traits. Okay, now I'm really confused. But anyways, not that big a deal. It's dead now. Oh yes, Apothecary is really good with Iron Gut. Apothecary is actually one of the best troops in the game right now. Main reason for this is one of the converter troops that has 10 mana cost. There's a few of these. However, the main thing that makes it really relevant, there's two things. One is it transforms to brown, and there's a lot of insanely overpowered hero weapons that use brown. The most two noteworthy ones are Mountain Crusher and Mang, though there are a few others. Those are like the really big two, as well as a few really good mythics that end up utilizing it. But the biggest thing that actually makes her pretty viable too is she gets to cleanse all allies every single time she does this. She has a really low mana cost that she can basically keep spamming just by, you know, putting into something like a Mountain Crusher, and then Mountain Crusher casts and basically gives her back full mana. But 4 times cleanse, very, very strong mechanic, and she can 0 turn 4 times cleanse, and that in combination with basically infinite brown mana is obviously pretty strong. Other than that, it also has a bunch of immunities. You got immune to stun, poison, disease, death mark, and devour, which also helps make it pretty decent. But it has a lot of things going for it. And for an ultra rare, it's among one of the best troops in the game, despite being ultra rare. Doesn't gain too much of a benefit from being upgraded, but it gains a bunch of HP and armor, so nothing else that makes it a little bit harder to kill. Also, we need to kill that Iron Gut before he gets to do anything. Get our Mountain Crusher everywhere. Get our other 2 hits, and be good to go. So we'll get that down, get our other Apothecary, and kill it out. There we go. Okay, keep moving forward there. What else do we need? Grab brown for now. But I've been curious if I will ever get back into writing. My biggest issue with getting back into writing is I'm a relatively slow writer. And for actually doing like work related to writing, I almost do it too slow for it to really be worth my time. What do we take here? We'll go for that one. Because most commission work for writing, while you do have to write decently, it's more so about how quickly you can write than overall quality. Like, you still need to have decent quality, but like the rate at which you can write is really dependent on how much money you make ultimately. Let's see. We'll take that for now. See you, Corn. Have a good day. Catch you later. Also, we'll probably hand out a redeem code soon. Have I not already? Probably hand one out. What did I say? I believe I said at 350. We already, like, blew past 350 because we're skipping now, so we're just moving at the speed of light throughout all these delves. Okay, let's get our Iron Gut. Get that for a Devour there. Hey, have a good day, Panos. Or I should say a good weekend. Oh, I guess it's both. Both are applicable. Get a Mountain there. Get ourselves the other Iron Gut. He's stunned and disabled. Grab that and just get that onto Reds there. And he's dead. As slow as writing a George R.R. Martin. I'm not that slow. Maybe that's slow. I'm not sure. I write probably about 500 words per hour whenever I'm like really trying to focus on writing something good, which is relatively slow. And normally most commission work is paid by the word or by a set amount of words. And while content matters, it normally isn't as dependent on how much money you make. Like, you need a certain amount of base quality, but a good majority of your money comes from how quickly can you keep getting new commissions and actually fulfilling those commissions. And if they absolutely love it or just kind of are okay with it, technically doesn't matter as far as how much money you make. But I'm really bad at that because I overly focus on like every single piece I ever do, which makes it take way longer. I'll do grab here. I'll take Brand for now. Any opinions on this team? Ancient Golem, Lava Elemental, Zephyrus, and Volthrix. It's something you would only really use in extremely early game. Most of that stuff you wouldn't really use too much as you progress through the game. Ancient Golem and Lava Golem are pretty decent tanks, though. Particularly Arcane Golem, because you can use it as a... well, a Lava Elemental early on in the game has a really high amount of damage. They did nerf him about a year and a half ago, because his burn no longer auto goes onto the next troop. But he's still a pretty good early game option. Ancient Golem's more so like a mid-game, late-game option, even though you don't use it too much in those locations. It's mainly used as a cheap alternative for stun. And you would need to specifically use it with like something that has a lot of stats effects. Zephyrus is pretty much only good up until about level 200, 300 or so. And past that, its boost ratio basically falls off. And Volthernox, I actually completely forget what troop that is, to be honest. I'm thinking it's that one undead troop from Blighted Lands, or is that a different one? Actually, forget. I believe it's that one dragon, that blue-purple dragon from Blighted Lands, in which it's actually completely useless if it is that troop. Let's see, we'll take that. Disease is a really underwhelming mechanic, is the main reason why. Like, if you can get a free disease off of something like off a hero class, it's not bad. Like, for example, off a Plague Lord. But, using something specifically that's more centered around disease just isn't really worth it. Is Tinsteel Teal good these days? No, unfortunately. It's the Lightning Dragon? Which one is that? Is that one of the more newer ones I just kind of forgot about? Exploded Gem, deal 20 damage to all enemies, boosted by Yellow Gem. Oh, this guy. Oh, never mind, he's not that bad. From an early game perspective, because you get really good boost ratio on him. Never mind, yeah, he's usable. He's definitely fine to use. I forgot about him. I forgot this even exists in the game. What kingdom is this from? Oh yeah, it was from the most recent Dragon's Claw event. Yeah, I completely forgot about this guy, mostly because he's only really relevant in like mid-game and prior. Later in the game, you would never touch him just because he's going to be too underwhelming. Yeah, that boost ratio is pretty nice. You go target 3 yellows, you just got 12 boost ratio for him, which is quite a substantial increase, and from an early game perspective, that is a lot of damage. The only problem is later in the game, that is useless. But from early to mid-game, probably up until about level 500, possibly even up to 1,000, but definitely up to 500, level 500. Should be able to get around away with using that. Yeah, that team should probably be fine then, for your current level range. I'm not sure what your current level range is, but the fact that you mentioned that as a team makes me think you're at a level range where that actually is fine to use. But Zephyrus and, well, pretty much all those troops except Ancient Golem falls off pretty much after you reach 500 plus. Definitely once you reach 1,000 plus. At 1,000 plus, the only troop that's relevant of those 4 is Arcane Golem. And it's mostly because it's a cheap stun option. It's a really decent stun option, too. You hit 4, I forget what you need. I think it's yellows? You hit 4 yellows and you just stun the entire enemy team. Which makes it a pretty decent stunner. And it does that for only 13 mana. Hello, Elite Gaming! Welcome! Okay, what else do we need here? Let's do down purples. And just devour them. There we go. Keep moving forward. Also, we're almost there. We might just go all the way. Oh no, should we do Pure Faction now or tonight? I heard someone mention it took them 45 minutes to do Pure Faction. So I might just do 500 this stream. And then do Pure Faction tonight. I think is going to be our game plan, most likely. Because I do feel like it's going to take us a while to do Pure Faction. Especially since we don't have extra Delve stats. Normally I do it with level 200 Delve. Currently I'm doing it with 100 Delve. Which means we have about, what is that? That's about 32 less HP and armor, 18 less attack, and 9 less magic, approximately. Is how much less stats we have because of that. It's not going to be like game-breakingly bad, but that's basically enough to survive a whole additional hit, if not 2 hits, while also having slightly more damage output. Oh, good. We actually got a stun on him via Titan. That's funny. We didn't have to go out of our way to curse him. And dead. Luckily, indigestible, you can do that too. Obviously, you can't do that to impervious or to that one dwarf trait. But you can do it to indigestible, because most indigestible troops do not have immune to stun anywheres on them. I mean, they don't have immune to... Yeah, that's what I meant to say. They don't have immune to stun anywheres on them. So you get to stun them, then devour them, even though they have immune to devour. Yeah, Volvernax is really good in early game. It's basically an alternative Dragon Soul in early game. Plus, you can even use it with Dragon Soul if you have one. We still need a dragon that has 50% mana start, though. I need to just convince them to add my character to the game and just make it 50% mana start. That would be really funny if they end up doing that. They were originally going to, but they had issues with 505 games that kind of made them not capable of doing like third-party kind of characters, which is why there's no crossovers in this game at all. But once they finally have the infrastructure in place to start doing that, which I have no clue when they're finally going to get around to that. But once they do, it'll be a lot easier to try to maybe request that from them. It was something that was going to happen and then kind of fell off, and then wasn't really talked much again. I should probably contact them again eventually, going over it again. Let's see. Let's keep moving. Hopefully get a Vow Raven too. I actually don't need to buy any more packs if I do. What do we grab? We'll get a thing right over there. Get over greens. Get our Devour down. I'll get our Devour over there as well. And what else we need? Grab the other thing, get all the mana going. And it was Devour. They said last time I ended up mentioning it that it would likely be a legend. And honestly, I'd probably prefer it being a legend rather than a mythic. Mainly because if it was a legend, I could definitely probably get them to make it 50% mana start. But if it was a mythic, we wouldn't be able to. And there's a possibility it would just be a dead content mythic. But if we make it 50% dragon start, it would always be a relevant troop. It might not be the most relevant troop, but 50% dragon start on its own, without any other thing being done to the troop, is enough to make it viable. What does the spell do? Not sure. We'd have to discuss it with them because it would have to be balanced. I would likely want to have silence on it, though. I've always kind of wanted a better Silent One. Like, I like the theme of how Silent One is set up, but its implementation is pretty bad because it has pretty bad traits, and it doesn't really have, like, any follow-up. Like, basically, like, an anti-magic spell thing is, or, you know, like an anti-magic troop, basically, is what I basically would want to make it into. Could you imagine if they added mana drain on Skull? I'm pretty sure that would never be a normal trait. That'd probably be a legendary or mythic trait. That'd be pretty funny. Nothing currently has that. The closest thing that we have to that is Silent One has silence on Skull, which is technically weaker than mana drain on Skull, which doesn't exist currently. Oh, yes, it does. But it's a legendary trait. Duh, Scion. I almost forgot about Scion. Scion used to be really relevant. It's like dead content these days, though, in the current state of the game. Ever since they added immune to mana drain. Duh, I completely forgot. But it's a legendary trait, not a normal trait. I completely forgot about Scion. Yeah, Scion used to be really insanely overpowered. Even though it hasn't been changed, what happened is immune to Mana Drain was added to the game. And ever since Immune to Mana Drain was added to the game, Scion basically instantly became dead content. Because the only thing it was used for was a consistent way to constantly deny the enemy's mana. But now I can't do that anymore. And since it doesn't really have any actual damage output, and the whole purpose of it is to drain mana, it's not really used. Let's see. I'll grab a Devour over there. Destroy all gems of a chosen color. Silence an enemy. Boosted by gems destroyed. That'd be pretty powerful. Wouldn't that be a 4-time silence then? That'd probably be a little bit too broken. I would still want it to have damage, though. Like, I wouldn't want it to be a silent one in the fact that it's literally just silence. I would want it to be, like, a smaller part of it. Also, it probably needs to silence itself, just so it's a little bit better. I kind of wanted to have it like a kind of Spellblade. Or not like Spellblade. What's the... There's a proper term for it in gaming. I guess anti-mage? There's like a really proper term. I believe it's anti-mage. But, it's just something that is really good. Basically, it has two things. Really high skull damage, and ability to deny enemies mana in some way, shape, or form, either by silencing or some other means. Basically, that combination, which is what Silent One originally was, but then they changed it. When the game first released, Silent One had the highest attack in the entire game, while also being able to completely deny out enemies mana, which basically made it that kind of troop. But as the game developed, it no longer had the highest attack in the game. And basically, I want to have a troop that's like that, essentially. Basically, what Silent One was when the game first released, except with less silence, but more damage. I'm pretty sure most people don't remember that, though, because that's literally like 5 years ago. We're talking like quite literal 5 years ago. But if anyone remembers what Silent One was like 5 years ago, that's basically what I would want the troop to be. Just with slightly less silence, but more damage. Oh, to grab here. Like something like a double silence, gaining attack, and like 50% dragon start. Like something else, like agile and like something else. Oh, I'm pretty sure it's just called anti-mage, the kind of trip that I'm looking for. Though maybe that's just me biased because that's what Dota 2 calls it. Dota and Dota 2. I believe Warcraft calls it that too, if I'm not mistaken. I'll get Devour there. Get all of our mana again. And what else we need? Grab a, I just did on red. Get her the Devourer. And kill it up. What about a splash damage plus silence? That technically exists. Let's see. Oh, it kind of exists. Parrot does something similar. It hits one enemy and silences up to 3. So the mechanic does exist already. Another thing that's somewhat like it, though not exactly the same, is the Satyr Musician, which does a double silence and hits 2 for full damage, which is basically the exact same amount of damage as hitting 3 with 2 half adjacents. The only difference is that you're silencing 2 rather than 3. But it's still doing the same overall amount of damage. Because with hitting 1 troop and doing half adjacents, comes out to the same amount of overall damage as hitting 2 troops for full damage. It's just 1 less silence. What do we take here? Oh, so Satyr Musician doesn't really get used that much ever since they made it hit the first 2 slots rather than hitting 2 random enemies. It didn't make it useless, it just made it weirder to use. Okay, we'll get our Devour there. Grab our other thing. Get a mountain everywhere. Yeah, we'll take that for now. And just mountain everything. Hello, Wizzo! Welcome.